notice. Welcome to the Unpaid Nobodies, everybody.
We're back.
Guys, it's been a while. It's been a minute. I had to join the Uncle Squad. That's why I'm here in a cardigan
Welcome.
tonight.
All right.
Yeah.
Welcome to
So,
the Uncle Crew.
yeah, my sister had a kid
Congrats,
last week, so we
congrats.
made the decision to just like not have an episode. And yeah, here we are now. So,
We're here. Jasper, did we even let you know, or is this your first time just like...
Yeah, Brandon texted
I
me about it
texted
while
him.
I
Yeah, I
was
got them in the loop. I
while
like
I
to make sure
was
No,
Jasper.
away.
you're out of town, so I was just like, it's just us two. Are we just going to decide to pull it?
Yeah. No, I let him know because like I was freaking out because it was my sister was having a baby, and like we had.
I was like, cool, no thumbnail.
Yeah.
Less work.
But yeah, so we got a lot to talk about. So, Purvis, you want to get into the albums?
Absolutely. Starting off with some of the albums, this is probably one of the bigger ones that I feel like came out this year, at least for some demographics. But Yeet is coming out with
This is one of the bigger ones of the
2093.
year so far. 100%.
Yeah, for sure. 2093. I don't know. It wasn't like surprise announced because there's been plenty of snippets, but I'm pretty sure he just told like everybody on Instagram this week.
Yeah.
So it's pretty quick. But I'm excited for that. I heard the snippet. Sounds great.
Yeah, I've liked the snippets. I really liked the snippet with Future. Like I do not hate Yeet. I just haven't like gotten super into it. So I'm definitely going to be giving this a spin. Of the albums we have written here, this is the one.
Honestly,
I'm probably
what I'm most like excited for. I feel like this is going to be the first album where he can actually have like the biggest names in the industry.
Apparently, Childish Gambino is on it.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So is Drake. So is Future. Like
that's
that's
a stack. That's a stack feature list. So I'm gonna be checking it out. And I like his thing. I just haven't really liked the music yet. You know what I mean?
It's good. It'll click eventually. Hopefully, it'll click eventually. Moving on from actually, Jasper, you like Yeet? You're not saying anything.
I'm excited.
Okay.
I thought his last project was a little bit more of the same, and I'm curious to see where he goes as like just musically and sonically as an artist from here.
For sure. Okay, but some of the other ones then, Kudeka, I feel like I found them maybe a year or so ago, and this is one of the first like, what's the term? Experimental hip hop, I think, that like I fell in love with.
Yeah.
So they had coming out with an album called Scrapyard. I'm excited to revisit it. Some other stuff that are coming out. Little John is coming out with Total Meditation. Don't know what he's meditating about.
Yeah.
Probably
yelling. I don't know.
Yeah, it's just like I don't know how you're meditating, but
it's like
peaceful.
Hey, Little John, you want to go meditate? Yeah.
It's like, have you found your center yet? Okay, what does that mean? Like,
I'm not gonna lie, that would actually bring me peace. It's just that getting that out might bring some peace of mind.
Dude, I loved when Little John showed up on that J. Cole album from a couple years ago. Remember that? That was sick.
What a reference, yeah.
Yeah, like
okay. I'll give you that. So some of the other music coming out. Our last album, we have Icy Twat coming out with Magic as Usual. I like some of their previous music as well, so I'm down to see some more. And then going into some of the singles, we have a lot of stuff going on, a lot of activity. One of the first things, the Rich Baby Daddy music video is now out. I don't know if you guys
saw this where like where he like literally was there when her water broke. Yeah, no,
like, what do I do? I don't know.
That was pretty funny.
Yeah, no, it was funny. It was like a funny humanizing moment. Yeah. No, it's very funny. Yeah, and I think using that, I really don't like this song, and like
I know, yeah.
But I think it was a very, very clever. It's one of those things where you have to even if you don't like the song, like you have to respect like the circumstances and like the shit they actually made.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's the fact that in the moment, even Drake was thinking about the bag, and both of them are like, turn the camera off. He's just like, what?
Yeah.
But yeah, cool music video concept. Love to see it.
Yeah, definitely a creative, cool concept.
Yes, absolutely. Some of the singles that has been coming out recently, there's been a lot of Schoolboy Q stuff that's been teased, but we have an official single on Spotify now. It's
Yeah.
on Spotify. Very excited.
I gotta keep it real with you. I don't
Okay.
think I'm gonna listen to it.
Oh, you're gonna wait?
I think I'm gonna wait for the whole album.
I'm shocked you haven't listened to it.
No,
It's hard. It's so. Jasper, have you heard it?
Guys. But it's hard though.
Guys.
Okay.
Guys, it's so good.
Say less.
Yeah.
The second this is over, I didn't know it had dropped yet. Like,
it is on your music app.
This is the most excited I am for our project this year. 100%. I am ready for Schoolboy Q to come back and assert himself as the king of rap right now. Like,
it's what we need. It's what we all need.
He's not the hero we wanted, but he's the hero we need.
I was gonna say I don't, but you two do you.
No, you will join in.
You are going
you
to
will love it by the
Schoolboy
end.
Q. Get Jasper a bucket
Go back
hat.
and listen to
now.
Man of the Year.
Get him a bucket hat.
Make it stop.
I
have a bucket hat somewhere. I have a bucket hat somewhere.
Gangsta.
March 1st, we're all wearing bucket hat.
Gangsta.
Oh, I would cry to God. Jasper, just give us one of those on the podcast. I'll be set for life.
Wait, should we pause and I could go find it?
No, just you screaming gangsta.
Oh, I thought you meant the hat. I was like, let's go.
We'll all wear hats March 1st.
Yeah, March 1st, we'll all wear hats. I wear hats on the podcast all the time. I wear hats.
Well, I mean, like a bucket hat specifically.
Okay, I'll go get a bucket hat.
Yeah, a bucket hat specifically, yes.
Yeah, I'm not shameless. I don't have a bucket hat. I remember when me and Jeff went to my grandmother's house to vacation once.
Yeah.
And the only hat she had for him was a bucket hat. And it was like 2013 when like that was the wave. Like
the bucket hats was a
Supreme towel with the bucket hat.
Yeah.
Yo.
That was a moment in time.
I'm bringing it back. But anyway. Moving on to someone who definitely wears Supreme towels and bucket hats. NBA YoungBoy has dropped another
100%.
single.
He's too young to understand that.
You think so?
100%.
He's in the wave though, I feel like.
Yeah, dude's like 19, right? I mean, or like 20. There's no way.
Yeah, I think he's like early 20s, but yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Far too young. But he has that aesthetic. I feel like he could fit in that clothing style.
I could see it.
But some other stuff we have some representation out of Chicago. We have Polo G with Saris and Ferraris. Banger of a name.
Yeah, that's an incredible name for
Absolutely. Amazing. Right. Love it. G Herbo also coming out with Get In With Me. So shout out to both of them. Yeah. We also have Conway the Machine and Joey Badass come out with Latino. Okay, bro.
They cooking. Like
you just know this is gonna slap. You just know it's gonna slap. Then we also have Tierra Whack coming out with 27 Club. She's been dropping a lot of singles. Hopefully, we get an album. And hopefully it's longer than 15 minutes.
Yeah, me too.
But who knows nowadays. And then lastly, I forgot to look up the name, but did you know Beyonce has a country song out?
Yeah, she has 16 Carriages and Texas Hold'em. Apparently, Renaissance Act 2 is going to be a country album.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, I've heard these songs. They're good. They're good. I'm not a huge fan of country. I mean, I like some of the old school stuff. I like Chris Stapleton. You know, I like a handful of country artists, and I think they're fun songs. You know, I'm just definitely less excited for country music Beyonce than I am than I was for house music Beyonce. 100%. Yeah. I
mean, that makes sense. There's nothing wrong with that. And speaking of that, actually, Jasper, I was gonna bring that up too. I'm glad you added it. It seems like she's been getting rejected to being played on country radio stations.
Yeah,
which is kind of crazy, but not surprising.
It's not,
which is great because you know the conservative, the right wing, whatever you want to call it, the country mindset of like our attention span is shockingly short because they did the same thing for Lil Nas X, and look how that turned out for them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think it's very interesting. I read this book over Christmas break called 7 Genres. It's a music journalist who embeds himself into like the culture of 7 different genres, and one of them is country music. And like they talk about the because country music as a genre has like such a weird a weird relationship between like the recording industry and like the radio stations that just doesn't exist in any other genre. Doesn't exist in hip hop, doesn't exist in R&B, doesn't exist in rock, pop, like the quite literally like the same companies that run like the radio stations in Nashville that syndicate all over the country doing country music are also like the record labels. So it's like a finely pruned genre. Right, like like think of it as like, you know, country is like Kleenex. It's a brand name. That's why when artists go ahead.
I was gonna say, do you think that's a good thing or a bad thing?
I think it's a bad thing because I think it's like very exclusionary. You know, like because you have like some of the best artists that were coming out at the time. You know, like someone like Billy Strings, who I think is just like this phenomenally talented, like songwriter and musician. He, and you know, because he does not adhere to like what the Nashville country sound is, you know, he doesn't get any play on the country radio stations, even though, you know, go listen to Dust in a Baggie, it's a country song, you know. Like,
it creates an environment which is basically like one big echo chamber, right? Where it's like you have, because you have the controlling interests being radio stations vying for people's attention and the record labels, there's like a pipeline of creation and distribution that is pretty much exactly tailored to only fit like whatever the tastes of those radio listeners are from the moment there's like the music inception. So you automatically exclude any voice that doesn't fit a narrative you're trying to push.
No, that absolutely makes sense.
That's why, I mean, country music used to be about I shot my husband and then ran away from the law to now like our boys in blue and my rhinestone shirt and you know 9/11.
I also think like there is like, I think on a more positive angle, I think there is. I was watching this a different music journalist talk about it, and he talked about how country music is having like its Nirvana moment, where, you know, the bro country is like kind of like the decadence of like 80s hair metal, where it's just in your face, decadent, you know, exactly the stuff you described. But now you have artists like Zach Bryan, who I listened to Zach Bryan's like last album. It's like, if you really are just put off by the aesthetics of country music, you're not going to like it. But like on a substance level, it's way better than anything I've heard in a long time. Right. And so I do think country music has a bright future. It just has like a really toxic culture around it that just frankly does not exist in other genres. Right. Like even someone like Jelly Roll can't get on fucking country radio.
I was just about to mention him too.
Yeah. There's also like other people who are kind of, I guess, a little more fringe who have become just like really popular in a similar style. Like somebody who I always go back to is Jason Isbell. Yeah. He's like my number one favorite in like that genre. And he started out his career with this group Drive By Truckers that was very much like Southern rock, country-esque, whatever. And now he performs and does like a lot of like singer-songwritery country, but it's all very, in terms of the messaging, it's all very different. It's like it has a lot of the same common elements of like early country music without kind of falling into the dogma trap that a lot of it does.
Yeah, and like, you know, the same way that like, you know, rock music and like the general like population like has like waned in popularity, but like hardcore and pop punk stay popular. Like the kind of bands that play at Riot Fest are just like, there's just a dedicated fan base, right? There is like a dedicated fan base of like hardcore like country artists in like the outlaw country scene. Stuff like Sturgill Simpson, Chris Stapleton, Tyler Childers is kind of like on the border of like outlaw country and like Americana, you know. So there's a lot of interesting stuff going on in that sphere right now. It's just like it has like the most obvious struggle, you know.
Yeah, you gotta like dig through a lot of crap.
Yeah.
I happen to be,
if anyone's gonna do it, it's fucking Beyonce.
Back. Yeah. I grew up like probably a mile from Fort Knox Records, which is located here in Chicago, and what a place that is. So, you know, we got our own little scene of people trying to do the thing too. So
yeah. All right, but that was our first news story. Was the country radio station's not playing the Queen?
Some other stuff just to go over. There's actually a span over the last 2 weeks. I wanted to throw this in there because it's crazy that it exists and that it happened. But I think it was 2 weeks ago. First, Aiden Ross had 21 Savage on his stream because that's what streamers do now.
Yeah.
They bring on artists. And apparently he was scammed, allegedly.
Good.
While playing, I think it was poker or something, or blackjack. I don't know. It was some card game.
I was gonna say neither because it had dice, so probably like craps or something.
Yeah.
Who knows what they were
Probably
playing.
just dice.
Yeah,
Or
just
dice,
dice.
yeah.
But allegedly 21 Savage had he was cheating apparently, and it was caught on stream. So
Like
that whole thing
weighted
went
dice, yeah.
right.
Good.
And there was talking about some with the card, like the card had scratches on it, a whole bunch of stuff.
Aiden Ross sniffed Andrew Tate's chair, so he deserves it. That's how I feel.
Oh, does it get worse?
It gets better.
After that happening. But wait, there's more. After that happening, I don't know how he pulled it off, but he was able to get Playboy Cardi on his stream for 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah,
and gave him $2 million for doing that.
Yeah, no, I'm Team Cardi on this one. I usually find his behavior pretty off-putting, but this time I think it's good.
Honestly, I agree. If anything, I'm glad it happened to Aiden Ross.
Yeah, Aiden Ross is a piece of shit.
What's going on?
Yeah, it's okay.
That's how. To be fair, also to Cardi's credit, it's not like he was standoffish. He didn't seem like he was mad to be there. Or whatever. He just kind of showed up, vibed for a little bit, danced around a little bit, and then left. Like
the fleece of the year.
Yeah, honestly,
it's still the fleece of the year. Yeah, it's still a fleece.
No, 100%. But it wasn't like he was like mad to be there. Like he seems at like every.
First
other
off, yes, he should, but like he should be like.
No, I agree with you, but I just think it's funny though. It's like he just shows up vibing, collects the money, and departs.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure at one point Aiden Ross was like, "So is music coming?" And then he just started playing some of the singles that already came out.
Yeah,
and I was like, "All right, well,
bet."
All right.
$2 million. What a life. Moving on. Our last bit of news. Donald Glover was a part of some kind of interview for, I think he was hooked up to a lie detector or something.
Yeah, it was for Mr. and Mrs. Smith, which, by the way, if you haven't seen it, I've seen the first 3 episodes. Very good. Very good spy show. Do not expect a remake of the Brad and Angelina movie.
That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
It has like actually a different premise, but it's very, very good.
But I am excited to start that. HBO, right?
Amazon Prime.
Amazon. Okay.
Yeah.
Excited for that. But I guess in the interview, they did bring up Lil Dicky, and they were comparing Atlanta to Dave. Jasper, I feel like you have.
Dude, I hate Lil Dicky so much.
I'm so mad about this.
I was like, Jasper,
I hate everything about
this. I was like, you're just gonna go on a rant.
I did not watch this. I was just like, I'm good. Like, I don't need to.
I hate this so much. I hate the fact that the Donald Glover would let the like nerdy actor part of his or nerdy like stand-up nerd part of his brain let him say these things in a public forum or like in a place where it's going to be recorded. Because just because you did stand up at one point doesn't mean that you have to like go out there on this. You don't have to die on this hill, Donnie. Yeah. Come on.
Especially because like Little Dicky is very not well respected in the stand-up world because of the Theo Vaughn thing.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, so you're gonna basically like tell the world that you're into the guy who released an album this past year called Peanut.
Yeah.
Go fuck yourself. You were supposed to save us.
You were
Donnie.
the chosen one.
Literally.
I still give him props for Atlanta, but yeah, I was like, there's no good to be had from this. Like
dropped because the internet. And
I
then,
feel like
another good album, and then became like Mr. Commercial Film Media everything, and like separated. I don't know. I just love-hate relationship. We've talked about it.
Yeah, he played it off very well.
Yeah, go to therapy.
He did play it off very well.
Stop dancing around the conversation with Donald Glover. Like,
just wait till we talk about vultures.
You got to go to childish damn therapy.
Look, he played it off. He said he doesn't compare to Dave. They said it wasn't a lie, so that's what we're gonna leave it at.
Yeah, don't ever trust fucking lie detectors. They're the devil's work.
I'm gonna say there was a whole John Oliver episode about that.
Yeah. All right. Shall we do schools in session?
Yes.
Are we gonna go to school? We're gonna give some grades.
All right, let me pull them up. I
Do
got
your
some
thing.
good ones. Some good ones. To start us off today, have we done him? I don't think we've done him. To start us off today, Chance the Rapper.
Oh, God. A minus. B plus. B plus. I'm going B plus.
You're in denial.
The longer I have to wait for this album, the lower it gets. Like,
I'm gonna
6 months ago, I would have said A minus, but I'm gonna go B plus right now. Like,
it's just so many good singles. It has to be good, right?
Yeah, we've literally been there before. I remember there was one time at the Blue Store where it was like a week before the big day came out, and I just came up to you like, Purvis, what are you gonna do if it's bad? And you're like, it's not going to be bad. You're like, it's just not going to be bad.
Oh no!
Depression. I'm just gonna say
I'm going B plus. Yeah.
I loved everything but the big day, but please just drop something else so I can put you back in A.
Yeah, I gotta go B plus.
Jasper, be the voice of reason.
I'm gonna go C plus.
I think that's a bit harsh, but not out of bounds.
I'm going C plus, and the reason is because with the trajectory that you have and the momentum that you have at a certain point in your career, it's like there's like the event horizon of career saturation in this industry, right? Where it's like something puts you over the edge and you become a household name, and then that's like then you are just like a part of the culture. Like somebody thinks about music or culture or anything like that, and you are part of that conversation. Chance managed to not only seemingly cross that event horizon in 2016, but then remove himself from that conversation over the next 3 years, which is unbelievable to me. I've never seen anybody else basically torpedo their career the same way.
Especially in not getting canceled for doing something.
Right, exactly. Like just fading out. And like I know that you like had ulterior things or like things that you were working on, but like does all the momentum and all the hard work leading up to 2016 and then eventually 2017 with the coloring world tour, like does that mean nothing? Right? I don't have a way to like contextualize.
I think that's the thing. I think that's going to be the difference between probably me and Purvis and you, is that like all that stuff, I think it remains as glorious as it ever was. I don't like.
No, I'm not saying that it's not.
Yeah, I don't. The big day does not make me retroactively not like.
I agree.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that like I'm not even talking about the big day. I'm talking about the 3 years of like basically taking a step back prior to when the big day came out, where all the like hype and the momentum around his style and his tours and his engagement in like popular media, social media, whatever, performances, where all of that just kind of like dried up. And it was like public opinion of Chance, at least around like the time when the big day came out, in my eyes, was much more neutral. People were no longer like, yeah, that's our boy, like Chicago, yada, yada, yada. At least like not among people who I was like sharing the album with at the time. It was like enough time had passed where those things became like fond memories rather than things that were being like passionate about in the moment. It was like you just lost the public attention in a way, and then that I think also negatively impacted reception of the album.
Yeah.
And with all that being said, like going off and like doing commercials and like being in other stuff is cool and fine, and like in no way really takes away from any of it. But I think there was like just, and I know it was like he had his family and all everything, but there was like a loss of focus on like what he had achieved that then led to where we are now, and like why we've seen some of the big gaps that we've seen after the fact.
Interesting.
Look, it makes sense. I'm not against it. I'm not mad at you for saying C. The only counter argument I would have, and I don't want you to like change your rating or anything, there's only one negative thing. Everything else has been positive.
I agree. I mean, I said a C plus, and for me, it's the album being really subpar and being a lot of content and having a lot of controversy.
It's bad.
Yeah, it's a lot of bad, and it also had a lot of controversy when it came out with like not paying people and like the whole thing. And then just like failing to follow up and deliver something else in a way that's like a palate cleanser, or like, people are still excited for a new album, but it's like, if this happens again, and we've talked about that, like what
Oh, yeah,
becomes of his
yeah.
career?
Oh yeah, no, then it's done.
If it happens again, then it's a wrap. Yeah, it
And
doesn't
that's why the stakes are high, and that's why I say it's a C right now, because public opinion is pretty neutral, and I would like to see it improve, but until it does, like, a C is pretty neutral, I think.
I mean, essentially, how this is going to be the utopia for my year. It might make number one if it's good, just because there's so much at stake.
Because of
That's
what it
Assuming
represents, yeah.
assuming it even comes out this year.
It'll come out.
assuming it comes out.
Yeah, I
But
think.
I'm pretty sure it will. But yeah,
I
you're
feel like
right.
it's a safe assumption, but yes, you're right. Assuming.
Okay. Let's move on. A Boogie with a Hoodie. Boogie
I haven't
with a
heard a ton of his stuff, but I would probably go like C+. I thought he was cool, but not super duper interesting.
That is fair.
You know, like there was never a thing that made him stand out to me. Like I remember I listened to him because like I had a friend at a certain point in my life who was very into them, and I listened to them, and I thought he was cool. Like I thought he was good. It just like there was never any reason for me to stick around.
I'm pretty much the same. There's a lot of good singles that I've heard over the years, and I've heard full albums at least, but nothing really stuck. There's never a situation where I went back and said, "Let me listen to a Boogie with a." So
Yeah,
I'm good with a C. I don't think he's done anything bad, but
yeah, exactly. There's nothing that's like really turned me off about it, but yeah.
I feel pretty much the same way. I don't really have enough of a background listening. I mean, the one thing I would say to his credit, he closed out Juice WRLD Day this year, and the crowd was real into it. So I mean, whatever he was doing, they liked. But it was just like, I haven't listened.
Yeah, he's absolutely someone who like I am absolutely happy for him having the success he has. You know, I do. I would not bemoan anyone or call him overrated by any stretch. He just has never really entered that upper echelon of artists for me.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Okay, that was a pretty easy one. Pharrell Williams. He did come up on the randomizer. Should we count him?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if he came up, I would count him. That's
A tier.
Yeah,
A-tier?
I gotta go. Like, my thing is like I'm trying to think. Are we just doing him as a producer?
Well, it's the whole career, isn't it?
Yeah, it's his whole career, but I
the
just
whole
don't know
thing.
if he has like I know he has like appearances like as like a vocalist, but like I don't think he's. I think he has way wider breadth as a producer, but I could be wrong.
I mean,
you're right, but just taking everything into consideration, I think it's still A tier.
I totally.
Yeah.
Oh no, I think he's an A tier. If we're doing just producer, I think he's A+. Like he is probably in my no, that's my thing. Like he is a top 5 all-time producer for me, 100%. Right? Like it is.
Yeah.
You know, Pharrell, The Alchemist, and fucking Elangelo, right? But like it's, you know, but the thing is, I don't know. I guess like my instinct is to go A+, because he's just such a good producer. He's produced some of my favorite tracks of all time. He produced All Right.
Yeah.
What?
Did produce?
He produced. He produced All Right.
He produced a lot of bangers. A lot of bangers.
Look at all these slave masters posing on your dollar. Like
he's so good. His actual producer tag is probably the most infamous one.
It is the best producer tag. It is the best producer tag.
It's not even like his name, like every other producer. It is so
subtle,
ingrained
and cool.
in culture. Yeah. You know what it is. Like it's the 4 beats.
Yeah,
he doesn't have to say anything. That is cold.
But that's so cold. Yeah,
that is cold. You get
A+, A+ for me.
Your producer tag is so hard. It's not even your name. But anyway, Jasper, you said A, right?
100%. I mean, you could take just the stuff he did with like Daft Punk and Pusha T, and I would still give it an A.
Yeah, no, easy.
And that's before NERD, the Neptunes, any of the early career stuff, any of the and like spanning even outside of music, like his connection to Bape and the kind of the changing of trends in the early 2000s and like really pioneering a whole wave of style in the culture was like, Yeah, or being the creative director of Louis Vuitton now, stepping into Virgil's shoes. So, yeah, all really impressive. I mean,
Yeah.
and
Plus, he's a
the
vampire.
facts, yeah, and just like the scope or the range that he has to like be able to comfortably rap alongside like
some of the biggest names.
Yeah, or like to have verses on stuff like Tyler's newest project, and then turn around and just produce just as well, if not better, and do it alongside people like Kanye, who have been like industry standard in terms of production for a minute in the eyes of like popular opinion or culture, I guess.
Yeah.
And to hold up, the fact that he and Kanye split, it's almost dry, and there's no discernible difference in quality between the two is pretty impressive.
Facts. Hey, you got it. But so you said it way better than I could. Okay, we got two more. I am curious about this one. Wiz Khalifa.
Ooh.
I mean, he had a very high.
He has classics. The dude undeniably has classics. I think he has classic songs, classic classic projects. I think Cushion Orange Juice is in my top 5 favorite mixtapes of all time.
Ooh, top 5 mixtapes? That's tough.
Yeah, right. I think
that's tough.
Like it's like right up there with like House of
there.
Balloons, Acid Rap, In a Tape,
1999.
Like it's like way up there. And I love Rolling Papers. So I think there's a lot to like, but I do think like it just got very yeah, it's just like he kind of like when Black and Yellow came out, like it was like, okay, this is what pop rap is gonna sound like in the 2010s, and that's just what it sounded like until the Migos hit.
Yeah.
So like I gotta give him credit for innovating, and like once again, dude has classic songs, classic projects. So I'm probably gonna go B+.
Okay.
No.
Jasper, do you want to go first? You've been going last.
I would go in the same vein. I don't know a lot of his like later stuff as well. I know some of like the early hits and things. But with that said, like what a moment it was, and like what a he really did capture, I think, like public attention and just like public intrigue very much in the same way that 2 Chainz would later do.
Yeah.
In like 2013, 14.
Yeah.
And kind of become really, really big in that way. I think he did it first, and he did it in a way that was, I think, a little more nuanced, just through not being as much of a meme, but you know.
He was very much, and like I don't think he ever got there, but I think he made a very honorable attempt. He was very much trying to be like our generation Snoop Dogg.
Yeah, totally.
That was really who he was trying to be. And once again, I can't fault him for the attempt. I don't know if he has gotten to that point yet. We could see. I could totally see that happening in the next 5-6 years. I could totally see us at the end of this decade saying like, "Oh, he has become that." But
I also got to give him props for giving us one of the funniest episodes of the Eric Andre show of all time.
Yeah, he's very funny.
He's a pretty funny guy in general.
Yeah.
Just the ability to bounce off him that they had on that show. Like when you take a whiz, do you get a sense of Khalifa? Starts laughing, fucking destroys the desk.
Oh, also, I gotta give him credit. He was the headliner, my first hip hop show I ever went to. My first big.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was him, Mac Miller, and then opening for them was Schoolboy Q, Kendrick Lamar, and Chitty Bang.
That's insane. Chitty Bang, where are you at?
Yeah, look, right.
Man,
yeah.
Concerts hit different.
And he did all of his songs with a live band, no beats, no anything.
Yeah,
all the live bands. It was insane.
Sheesh.
Oh, the
Taylor Gang chants. The Taylor Gang. Taylor Gang. One of the best times.
The other.
We gotta bring that back. 2024. We're bringing back Taylor Gang.
The other golden meme that we got just from that same show, I just want to put it out there, is the nightmare. That's from that episode of Eric Andre. So
I love Eric Andre. Legalize everything.
Classic.
So good.
I'm kind of in the same area as you guys. I'll probably say like B- B for me. I do think he was killing it at that time, but he is forever trapped as like my middle school rapper. Like my 8th grade dance. Yeah. That's all he will be. And I understand
Yeah,
may not deserve it, but that's all it is to me.
Black and Yellow.
Day.
That's the thing, because like Black and Yellow hit like my first year at college. Like it hit like that was like 2010 in the fall. That's when it hit. So it was like it was.
It's just that era of music.
Yeah.
Just the club young hip hop scene. Just classic classic Wiz Khalifa, and I can't put him out that box. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. So yeah, I would not give him an A, but like I do have a lot of respect for him.
Yeah. Our last one, I feel actually would be kind of controversial between us. Trippie Redd.
I don't know. Like I've never really liked Trippie Redd, but I also don't hate him either.
Okay.
Right? Like I think like a lot of people in his vein, like I think he has a lot of not necessarily Summer Smash, but like honestly, I think like almost the generation before that, like the SoundCloud generation, right? Like X and all them, like to me they all sounded very similar. And there were a few that stood out, and Trippie Redd was one of them for sure. So I have to give him some credit on that,
Okay.
And I've liked some of his guest appearances, but I've never been like so into it that like I've checked out a whole album. I think I maybe have like done like a couple playlists of his and listened to like a good wide variety of songs. And I've seen him live, and like it was admirable. It wasn't a bad performance by any stretch. But yeah, I would probably go like maybe a B-, C+, something in that area.
We did see him at Summer Smash, didn't
we did.
We did.
Yeah, we did.
And then I was bummed because we had to leave before he closed because I really wanted to hear him do Mr. Rage, and we didn't. And then Cardi did Mr. Rage later that night. It was like, yes.
Yep. Yeah. An even better version.
Catharsis.
Jasper, do you want to go?
Yeah, it's tough because like he's someone who sonically I like a lot of what he does. I think he's got a really unique voice. I think that the what I know of it has all been impressive or enjoyable for me. I don't know the newer stuff as well. I know some of his earlier hits and things, and some of it's like in my regular rotation. He did put on a pretty great live show when we saw him, but it's tough because I don't know that he from 2016 to 2018 to 2020 to now has really like reinvented himself outside of that kind of SoundCloud mold. And I think that that's something that a lot of other artists have it's like sink or swim. You either do it or you kind of get forgotten in that style. But yeah, I would probably say like a B- just because there's like I think there's like definitely room for his style and his sound to evolve and have a place in like what is current like pop rap essentially. But also he needs to actually do that, and I don't necessarily know that. What was it? Mansion Music, was that the latest one, the album?
Yeah, I think it was 2013. He's had a Love Letter to You 5.
Love Letter to You 5. Wait, what was he put out a big album like last year that was like it was all like gothic, like the dark.
Saint Michael V2.
Okay, yeah. So like, me neither. But I'm curious what that sounds like relative, and if he's kind of like changing it up at all.
For me to be honest, I don't know why, but Trippie Redd connected me a lot to like the aesthetic of rock music. Not necessarily that he is rock.
The aesthetic, yeah. No, he definitely pulls in like the sounds. I don't think his music is rock by any stretch, but very similar to like a Denzel Curry or an X was playing with it more.
Literally what I was going to say. Yeah,
he definitely is. Using you could tell he's a fan of rock music is basically what you get.
Right.
So yeah, I like him. I have no problem like calling out artists I think are like lame and derivative. I don't think that's him.
Right.
But I also gotta admit like it's never really been for me either. So I happily give like a C+.
Understandable. Yeah, I'm probably in the B range too. Cool. Throw a minute. That was 5. We were finished.
Hell yeah, dude. All right. Let's get to our 3 little subjects. We'll just chat through them because we don't got a lot to talk about. I mean, we kind of do.
We'll get into it. It depends on how deep we get into them. We'll just start.
Let's start
It's
with
gonna
this.
be a podcast.
Let's just start with our synchronized head nods for when we talk about Mr. West. Let's all do it.
Mr. West.
No,
Wake up, Mr.
Here.
West.
Wake up, Mr.
We
West.
are here. But yeah, we have a little vibecast talking about 3 different things. The first thing on everyone's channel.
Yeah,
every
it's
news
everyone.
outlet.
We couldn't not talk about it. Was Kanye West.
Yes, Mr. West has
His
performed.
reign of terror continues.
He is in, like, officially we can say it. He is now back. I'm not saying he's back in quality, but he is now back in the scene, fully in the news, fully making music and releasing it. He performed at the United Center last week.
No,
I want to say
Last Thursday.
last Thursday.
And then he performed at UPS Center in New York on Friday.
no,
Yes, and it officially did come. It came out, I think, a day late or
something like
Friday
that.
or something.
No.
But Vultures 1 was officially released. How many? Have you heard it? How many times?
I listened to Carnival. That was it because I was like,
Okay.
everyone was like, "Oh, Carnival's the
Everyone
best
is
track."
talking about Carnival.
It is.
And I'm like, it's okay. Like, it's fine. I don't think it was that. I thought it was like a
Okay.
little annoying, but like not the worst thing I've ever heard. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm not gonna say I'm never gonna listen to Vultures. I will probably one day get around to it.
Okay.
I just have like no energy to listen to it right now, and I just hate Kanye. I'm starting to, in small doses, like listen to his old stuff more and more. You know,
Small
like
dose.
Microdosing Kanye.
a little bit.
Literally.
Dude, it like legitimately upsets me. Like, I don't know if it's because I have like ADHD or if I'm just stupid. But like like
Can we put that on a shirt? Sell it on the unpaidnobodies.store.
Yeah.
Quick, buy that domain before somebody else does. Shop.unpaidnobodies.com.
Oh my god!
Shoplifted unpaidnobodies.com. Like,
Stop it.
What an absurd comment. But go on.
Yeah.
But
Right.
go on.
But yeah, so I don't.
God damn it.
Oh God, we got nothing if not bits. We got so many bits. But yeah, no, I've been listening to his old stuff like more and more. But yeah, I just have not been very excited to jump into Vultures.
Understandable. Okay. Jasper, how many times did you hear it?
I've listened to it through twice. The first time, I don't know what happened. I like resumed playing it because I had to like go to work and then I was coming home and like it somehow like Spotify turned on shuffle, so I like went back and listened to the end and then listened to it again, pretty much all the way through while I was like out. I was out running and I was like doing stuff around the house. I want to listen to it for a third time. I try to go back for a third time and we'll talk about it, but there were a couple songs in there that are just like not enjoyable for me to get through that we will discuss.
There was some tough songs. I got through it 2.5 times.
Mm-hmm.
I know you said it was not amazing.
It was not amazing.
No.
It wasn't. Here's a weird thing. I feel like I wanted it to be terrible, but it wasn't terrible.
No, it's
like,
not.
It wasn't down to 2. It wasn't even like I wouldn't go below a C. That might be in the range where I would fall in, but it's not like a bad album.
So my whole thing with it is that as an assortment of songs and as musical production components, like all of that, it's decent. Like it's pretty good. Like a lot of the sounds here I actually really like, and I think
it's the production.
It's the context they're delivered in is the problem, and I think as an album, it's a lot and it's messy. It's like really messy. I would say that All Is Yellow is the best release we've looked at of the new ones this year on the show so far, and I would say that has a much more coherent structuring as an album from beginning to end than this does.
I don't doubt that.
30 or 40.
Very Kanye, very Kanye moment to not have an album that makes any fucking sense in its order. You know.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, the second time I listened to it, I did realize like once you get past the like it's Kanye and like that, I don't want to say it's a mental block as though like I want to get past this or he deserves the attention, but once you get past the like the idea that like okay, I have to listen to a Kanye album. Once I get to like the actual production, you're right. It sounds phenomenal. and I hate that it actually sounds pretty good. There's a lot of low lows though. Like the lows are crazy low, like really bad low.
I want to see. Purvis, I'm curious. What would you consider to be the first big low on this album? Because I want to see if our tastes line up on this.
It's tough. There's different lows for different reasons. Sometimes like the lyrics are that bad.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like this just doesn't even sound good. I don't know the first low, if I'm being honest. It was a roller coaster.
I was gonna say I'll tell you mine.
What's your first low?
So I started listening. I heard Stars. Musically, Stars is fucking beautiful. I think it's really nice. It has some deranged lyrics, which we'll get to later. Keys to My Life, also kind of pretty. I think it's whatever. Paid through Hood Rat, I fucking hate. I hate all of these songs. And they make me so mad. Especially
you don't like Back to Me?
Fuck that fucking song. Fuck Jay and Silent Bob and this stupid bit. I hate it so much.
It's almost meme worthy.
And you know what makes me so mad? Yeah, what makes me so mad about it is it's the poopity scoop effect, where it's like you took something musically totally valid that sounds like it could have been cut off of like one of the better parts of Donda, like the original Donda, which I actually really like, and you just completely devalued it by just basically word vomiting all over it.
That is an excellent way. Excellent.
And that's a lot of this album. That's most of this album for me, which is what really makes me mad. Yeah.
Word puke. I mean, yeah, honestly, there's a lot of low lows. A lot of the lyrics. I tried to pull up the lyrics and listen to it a third time. And like I just didn't have the time or the desire really to at that point.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say this. Fuck Some, Vultures, and Carnival will actually go down as some of my favorite like 3 songs in a row. I'm not even gonna lie. But besides that, the rest of this album's garbage. And even in those 3 songs, I don't like the lyrics that much.
What about Do It?
Do It was okay.
I like that song.
Do It was okay. Do It
was
okay.
The backing on that song is like one of the highs for me, production wise. I would say that lyrically, none of this album is worth a damn to me.
Oh no,
like
he's not saying
like yeah.
And if he is saying something, it's something I don't agree with. So
yeah, it's funny that you brought up Fuck Some because that's I think one of the most not intellectually but like coherency bankrupted tracks on the entire thing, where it's just like derivative crap and it's basically saying nothing, which is such a fall for someone who gave us like, you know, so many classic lyrically dense thought-provoking albums throughout like a 20-year period.
Yeah,
it is interesting that you say that because the Fuck Some and Carnival, I've seen a lot of like people talking about it, and those are the 2 songs of Cardi, and the best parts of those songs are the Cardi parts. So like if Playboy Cardi comes out with an album at these caliber of lyrics, I feel like it'll be a good album. For Playboy Cardi,
yes.
For Vultures,
different standard.
I just want to, I don't know.
Yeah. I also gotta address the fact that I think Ty Dolla $ign contributes pretty much nothing to this project. Like he's there, but yeah, I mean his verses and everything else are pretty much zero substance. And he said it best on Paid when he said, "I'm just here to get paid" about 16 times in a row.
I respect that.
Yeah, I'm just here to get paid. I'm just here to get paid.
Fade 2.2.
Fade 2.0, yeah. So that's another thing I want to bring up.
He sampled his own music a lot.
Yeah.
A lot. And
that's all he has.
It's like, it's getting to the point where it's like watching the Allman Brothers go on tour, and it's like you can just self-reference because that's all that's left.
Yeah. Something I noticed just looking at it was when he was originally threatening to drop Vultures, he was doing it by promoting that song with the Backstreet Boys sample, the Everybody song. That song's not on the album.
No,
because it didn't get cleared.
Right, and then you have like the whole Ozzy Osbourne.
There's already a song on here that you can't play. Good Don't Die on Spotify right now is
blacked out. Yeah. But on Carnival, where that is, he just put in Hell of a Life because that already interpolates Ozzy. So
yeah,
yep,
he did it anyway. But
yeah. But I saw a very funny. I forget what it's called. I think it's called the Hard Time News. But it's like
Hard Times News.
Yeah, they have it's like a music version of The Onion, and it was
Yeah.
about the Ozzy Kanye thing. And it was like old man who hates rap music is on the right side of history somehow. Like,
Yeah.
All that,
and
yeah.
it's funny. It's funny because I've been sitting on an Ozzy Osbourne rec for like a month.
Yeah. Now's
And
the time.
spoiler alert, it's actually not coming this week. But like, but I've been sitting on an Ozzy Osbourne rec for a while, and I was like, it's time, it's happening.
He deserves it. But
yeah.
that's pretty much everything with the album. It's everyone's talking about it, and weirdly, I don't want to say like I'm mind blown. It just kind of sucks that I knew I was gonna be right, but like it seems like people don't even care. Like all the music channels are just moving about it as though it's like it's whatever.
Yeah, Fantano like refused to review it.
Oh yeah,
but,
Fantano. Well, that's Fantano. He's known for his takes anyway. But
yeah,
most media outlets, especially the quick hit stuff, no one's actually.
no, yeah, everyone's just like taking it and going. But
There's. Go ahead. What were you gonna say?
no, I'm about to transition. But go ahead. Just go ahead.
Oh,
and say
I've got
your
a couple more
then.
things. I got a couple more things. Yeah, the whole self-referencing really speaks to. It sounds like he's functionally out of ideas, and the lyrics really are in that same vein, which is really depressing and frustrating. And honestly, the way the album wraps up with doubling down on pretty much everything that he's had a chance to backpedal from and kind of, rectify in some way is really not a good look, obviously. The song King at the very end, where he talks about, like, in spite of all this, I'm still a king. Like,
Right.
nah, dude. The reason people pay attention to these releases at this point is because there's a sense of spectacle. You are the music industry's jester at this point.
I was about
And
to say it's the entertaining thing right now.
Yeah.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
Volume 2 is going to be the entertaining thing at the time.
Yeah.
Yep, it's a flash in the pan. People go to.
It's a cultural black hole fueled by algorithms, right? Like you just go, like all it does is just like pour more and more gasoline on an attention fire, right? Like that's why I think I'm just like choosing to opt out. It's just like I don't have to be involved with the Kanye thing right now if I don't want to. It's okay if I
Of course
choose to.
He's going to be at Rolling Loud.
Sure, and I'm. First off,
that's wild to me. I'm sorry. That's the last thing I want to cover. That's crazy.
It is wild, but I don't know. Do you think it's gonna be worth a fuck? Like Frank Ocean Coachella V2 about Eminence. I think
very possible. Very possible.
So yeah, I mean, it sucks that he still has all his clout, but that's what happens, right?
At that level.
Yeah.
He's the new Jesus, he said, so.
I hate that. I hate that so much.
Anyway, let's talk about a good artist.
Yeah. So we still have to talk about the Grammys, and needless to say,
you're ecstatic.
I'm not really, because I don't care about the Grammys, and I gotta be honest, like I think it's nice when someone I respect wins something, but I still don't really give a shit about the Grammys. But yeah, no, Killer Mike swept best rap song, best rap performance, best rap album, all three.
Huge.
Unexpected. Not a lot of people thought that would happen, and look, it wasn't my album of the year, but it was the highest one out of the albums that were nominated, and I'm very happy about it. I'm very happy Michael is getting his flowers. Killer Mike has been my all-time favorite rapper, probably since like 20. When did Run the Jewels 2 drop?
These aren't his first Grammys, is it?
He won another Grammy for he won some Grammys for Run the Jewels, which I do think count, and then he had one for a feature.
What about rap music? Was that not nominated for anything?
I think it was nominated. I don't think it won anything.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, it beat some stiff competition, because like this was one of the years where, I would say the nominations were, pretty tight. Yeah. But I think Michael was the clear winner, and I'm happy it won. I'm happy Killer Mike. He's been an underground rap legend for years. I'm happy he got his flowers. And yeah, like I feel vindicated because I've always been just like a huge champion for Killer Mike, and yeah, I think he's worthy of this level of success.
Yeah.
And speaking of like, we were talking about with the Kanye West thing, how the media channels just like keep giving bad takes. A lot of bad takes around.
Oh yeah,
the Killer Mike victory. Like I get that there
it's
were
so funny,
dude. I don't know how you could possibly think that not knowing who Killer Mike is a flex.
Yeah, it's like tell me you're 14 without telling me you're 14.
Yeah, like
there's full music outlets and media pages that like openly admitted it was like we don't know Killer Mike, and it's just like you're a hip hop channel.
Dude, I literally stopped following some music creators who I really liked because they were like, "Who the fuck listens to Killer Mike?" And I'm like, "Me." Like, lots.
Fuck you.
It's not even just that. How do you not know? At least know who the hell it is. He's nominated. I know everyone nominated.
Yeah, right. And it's just like, and I do think me and Purvis were talking about it because I kept getting served content from a certain subreddit. But it was like
get off the subreddit.
Yeah, but it's not like our Metro Boomin was that bad either. Like,
look, I mean, like you said, it was some stiff competition. To no one's surprise, I did think Utopia was going to win it. I wanted Utopia to win it. The fact that it's Killer Mike, I'm okay with it.
Me too. I feel exactly the same way.
If anyone else was going to go to, at least they picked the right.
I think that's a lot of people's takes. But yeah, no, I'm just super happy Mike won it. I think there were a lot of great albums, and I don't know, like I understand the frustration with like people being like, "Oh, Travis Scott still hasn't won a Grammy," but like, I thought it would. I thought like, is it really gonna happen with the shadow of Astroworld, over him?
Yeah, but when have the Grammys cared about controversy, right?
I mean, all the time. It's just selection bias.
Sure.
But and another thing about speaking of Astroworld, like I think like 2018 was a far more compelling argument for Travis. I like Utopia more than Astroworld, but I think Astroworld was the strongest. That was the year as like Travis Scott, maybe not to me personally, but had the best argument for the best album of the year, right? Even though I like Utopia more, I think Michael just
gap between
I think the gap between Utopia and Michael to me is like way bigger.
I don't know. I think if Invasion of Privacy hadn't won, I think Pusha T would have taken it.
I mean, I would have liked Pusha T to take it
for Daytona,
and like, listen, you'll see in our upcoming appearance on a different podcast. I respect what we talked about with Yee. I respect a lot of the changes that Cardi B brought to the culture. I think they've been wholly positive. I don't think that album's better than Astroworld.
No.
Or Daytona, so.
No.
But yeah, no, I'm very happy about it. He was also arrested.
Very Killer Mike of him.
Very Killer Mike. Arrested immediately. Apparently, he like shoved the security guard. It was like a misdemeanor charge. Whatever.
Because why not?
Yeah.
You got the trifecta. Just do something.
I think my favorite thing was, and I sent Purvis this video today, because another big news from the Grammy is that Jay-Z accepted the Dr. Dre Global Impact Award, and like talked about Beyonce and everything about how she's never won an album of the year.
Crazy.
Yeah. However,
and she has the most awards.
Yeah, no, insane. However, I thought it was very interesting that Killer Mike was talking on the one with Charlemagne, the big radio show,
Breakfast Club.
Breakfast Club, yeah. He was on a Breakfast Club or something with those people, and he was talking about how the plan was if he didn't win, Jay-Z was going to give Killer Mike his speech.
Yeah.
Based.
Very respectful.
Which, yeah, I think like I like that people have just decided like, yes, this is Killer Mike's time in the sun.
And also, screw the Grammys.
Screw the Grammys, yeah. I'm just saying, come back and give me Run the Jewels 5. Give me Run the Jewels 5. I want it so bad. Give it to me right now.
I will say, I think the fact that with his sound being so in the sphere of pop and like just pop culture in general, the fact that Travis is 0 for 10 is truly impressive.
Yeah, like, 0 for 10 is nuts. I'll give you 0 for 10 is nuts.
Yeah, that's like an exclusive club of Grammy artists who are in that. Like, 0 for 10.
But like, I still don't think he's been snubbed as bad as like The Weeknd was, though.
No, that's true. I mean, he's had his fair share of competition. It's just I'm surprised that in like how industry pleasing his sound is, I guess. It's like he hasn't won over something that technically deserved it more anyway, which is what has happened to him.
Yeah. I mean, like, I think he's gonna. I think another thing is that, like, yeah, and this is a thing that happens all the time, like in other like award shows where you have like body politics and shit. You
Mhm.
know, I think like he's gonna have his time in the sun.
Yeah, eventually.
And the thing is, he's gonna have his time with or without the Grammys.
Yeah, it's
well, no, he's
wiping his
has,
eyes with $100 bills
yeah,
for
but he
how
has
well
his,
the tour did.
he has his time without the Grammys. You know, like
Yeah.
he's the big, and like, that's another thing that like I was reading a piece and it was a criticism of Taylor Swift and Marvel movies, right? But I think it really applies to Travis Scott in this instance, or at least I think it applies to Travis Scott's fans because it's really about the fan bases of those two things. And
Mhm.
basically, the idea is like your the thing you love, like Taylor Swift, the MCU, Travis Scott. It's like the most successful thing in its sphere. Nothing
Yeah.
comes close in terms of cultural penetration, in terms of like overall impact. Nothing comes close. You guys have won. You guys are the dominant thing, right? Do you need to be the thing that wins all the awards as well?
Right.
You
Of
know,
course.
and I think like that is a very, because I think like yeah, like an artist like Killer Mike, his time is going to be when he can give a speech at a place like the Grammys. Travis's, you know, time is
And
at
several
the
other
United
places.
Center. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah,
And
any show he
they are
gives.
artists that exist in like kind of different spheres and different
Yeah.
lanes. And I
Unless
do,
you're Taylor Swift, you
and
get everything.
yeah, then you get everything, right? Then Midnight's was so ass. Like I don't,
Literally, Taylor
I
Swift
am so,
fans that
I
I've talked
will,
to say it's not a good pick.
yeah, no, like I am someone who has on a critical level liked some Taylor Swift stuff. It is Midnight's did not deserve that whatsoever. It was insane.
How did she get a Super Bowl? That's just not fair. There's football fans that haven't gotten a Super Bowl over like the past 20 years.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, raise your
She starts
hand.
dating
Like,
someone for a year and she wins it all.
Yeah.
What is this?
Well, she picked a winner. Like
it's an elaborate scheme by the Democrats. Everybody knows that.
Shut
I
the
hate
fuck
everything.
up. I like, but yeah. So I think Travis Scott's gonna have his thing. I think another thing that I thought was like very annoying was like, I could definitely respect that other people like other albums more. Like I heard a lot of people talk about like why they preferred the Metro album to Michael, and I thought they made a lot of really good points. The thing I think that was constantly getting from the Travis Scott subreddit was like their reassurance about Utopia, an album I think is like has creative merit to it. Was
Sure.
like they weren't like, oh, like I love the hype feeling when I listen to Fiend. I love the beat switch on like Lost Forever or whatever. I love My Eyes. It was like the streaming numbers, and I'm like, is this what you guys think it's about? Like,
Well, the thing is that makes it, I think the worst part of all of it is that the counter argument is just who is Killer Mike, when that's the worst part of all of it. If your counter argument is who is the competition, you don't even know who's like in the running.
yeah,
You don't even understand why he won.
yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
Oh,
like
I
how
totally
can
agree
you
with. Yeah, I agree with that 100%. Yeah.
that's the most annoying part to me.
Yeah.
I do want to say my one thing. I feel like Killer Mike in general, very well deserved. I don't think Scientists and Engineers is all that. That's just my take.
I
think-
I don't hate that take. It's far from my favorite song on that project.
Yeah, and we've talked about it.
That's
I
what
think
I
that
thought, right?
yeah, Andre 3000's verse is I think pretty weak, honestly, and I wish that hadn't won specifically. But other than that, I
Other
think
than
that
his Flute
everything else
album.
is justified.
Yeah, no, I can definitely get down with that.
Have you two actually listened to said Flute album? Just curious.
I was going
Not
to wait
yet.
till I heard it in person, but I'm not going. So
Yeah,
I listened to the first half of it.
yeah,
I'm,
Banger.
I'm sure it's weird and ambient.
It is, yes.
Yeah,
That's
Very
why-
ambient for the first 20 minutes.
yeah.
That's all I do in my free time.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not listening to
Right.
beats and bars.
I'm gonna say
I'm
play
sick
Tears
of
of
all
the Kingdom.
Like-
Play Tears of the Kingdom and mute it and put that album on vibes.
Dude, I just been playing. I have that podcast that's just all bangers, and I've just been in Call of Duty listening to that and being a menace. 32 and 12, come get me. Fiend,
I was
Just
off
with
work.
with
Why
an
didn't you
intervention.
just tell me to come play?
Oh, I didn't play today. I was busy today.
Okay, fair enough.
I've been doing that for Halo.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I do it for Halo too. I love, I can ruin people's days on any platform. Like
In any game.
in any game.
We can get it anytime.
These
All right.
hands are cross-platform.
All right.
All right. So
Put that on a shirt.
He just had to take it one step further.
all right, should we talk about the next cultural event that Taylor Swift ruins?
Yes.
Must we? Must we talk about Hand Egg with a live music show in the middle?
Shut the fuck up.
You didn't like him groping Alicia Keys?
I didn't watch it.
You didn't watch the Super Bowl?
Hell no, I have things to do.
So the thing is that
play Tears of the Kingdom.
So the thing is that the Super Bowl is also the biggest day in my field.
Yeah, it's like the biggest sporting event we have in America.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
In America?
It's not.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, in terms of
it's the most individually watched sporting event in the world.
In terms of viewership on TV, sure, yeah, whatever.
That's how they count all of that.
No, I know. I'm saying.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Literally,
forgive us for liking a sport that we've actually played.
I was gonna say literally any motorsport event has like more than 10 times the attendance in person, but that's a whole other thing.
No, it doesn't. Whatever. Not the Super Bowl.
It does.
The Super Bowl is so loud.
How many people go to the Super Bowl? Like how many tickets are available?
It's literally I don't know what's the capacity. What's the capacity on that stadium in the venue?
I'm going to look up the Super Bowl. You look up F1.
Yeah. I already know the numbers for F1.
Yeah, of course you do.
I was there.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I can go to F1. I can't go to the Super Bowl.
Okay, but you're talking about in person, like.
Yeah.
That's stupid.
95% of the people watching the game are not in person.
Yeah.
But
99% of the people watching the game are not in person.
And the other thing, I'm going to put this out there right now. Because I'm the football fan on the podcast, so I guess I'll be talking for a second. My team is of course the Bears, and they are just atrocious. They're atrocious. They're the worst team in football.
Maybe not the worst, but they're
very close. Anyway, they're very bad. So I always have a team in the other conference that I liked. And literally ever since it was like at the same time that we drafted Trubisky, I was like, oh, I was hoping we would get this Mahomes guy. I'm going to start watching him in Kansas City because he's in the AFC. So I've been watching Kansas City for 6-7 years. So like, I kind of look, here's the thing. I'm totally okay when people are like, no, I want a new team to come and knock the Chiefs out. Cool. I'm totally okay with that happening. I'm not going to shed a tear when the Bills eventually get their ring. But I like the Chiefs. I'm one of those people. I just think they play good football. I think Mahomes and Kelsey are genuine, like some of the best football players I've ever seen play the game. So
they're pretty damn good.
Yeah, they're incredible players. So, and as a football game, it was one of the best Super Bowls in recent memory.
It picked up in the second half.
Yeah, I mean, I used to watch the 49ers because my siblings used to know Jimmy Garoppolo. Mm-hmm. They went to college with him. But yeah.
Oh yeah, I know a friend that went to college.
Yeah.
Knew of him.
But yeah, no. And the other thing is that I work in advertising. So this is the biggest night in my career as well. Like most of the Super Bowl parties I'm aware of are not actually all too concerned about the game.
Mm. Well, Super Bowl or the commercials used to be some of the biggest parts of the Super Bowl.
100%. The Beyonce commercial is nuts.
That was kind of dope.
No.
I know that cost them an arm and a leg.
I have something to say about that, but we'll have to do it offline.
Okay. Anyway, Jasper, you want to brag about F1's attendance in person?
Yeah, on a track that is 10 times the size.
But that's what I'm saying is like it affords the opportunity for like participation in a way that something like the Super Bowl just doesn't, regardless of like what the pricing is, which is like I think kind of cool. But whatever. I mean, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. I mean, no, but it is just like the most relevant sporting event in the world. Save the World Cup,
Think about Tour de France though. That's free.
Think about what'd you say?
Is it the Tour de France or whatever? What's it called?
That's the
the race. Yeah. What about
I'm just saying, like it's free attendance. It's free to go there and watch it, and it's mouths of people. Like I'm sure the attendance is huge, but like I wouldn't say there's more people watching that than a Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean that's maybe not. I don't know. I have no
Yeah.
idea. I've never
Like,
watched the Tour de France.
Did you something I thought was interesting? I read a story about this today, not today, earlier this week, because they were talking about like the meme of Travis Kelce yelling,
Yeah.
and they were talking about how the Super Bowl is so loud that it's actually not very effective to measure the sound of the Super Bowl in decibels. They measure it on the Richter scale.
That's interesting.
Yeah, they measure how loud the Super Bowl is by the effect it has on the earth. Right?
Getting like Travis Scott levels.
Yeah, like the Super Bowl is reliably moving the earth more than a Travis Scott concert.
Yeah, I mean that checks out.
Yeah. But yeah, so I enjoyed it, and then I thought I have always been the fan that I thought the halftime show sucked and was always the worst part of the Super Bowl, unless the game also sucked. But recently, I think they've gotten much better, and I thought this was maybe not my favorite of recent years, but still like up to snuff with since 2020, like the higher quality Super Bowl shows. My girl is a massive fan of Usher, so it was a blast.
I'm pretty sure I saw a story of her like dancing to
She just got up and started dancing, dude. She was so happy. She loved.
It was a dope show. It really was. I saw it with probably 30 people with like 3 projectors up, and the second he took off the shirt, everyone was like, "Oh my god!" And I was like, "Okay, I get it." But it was a dope show. He's a performer. I realize I'm not the biggest Usher fan, at least previously.
Yeah,
just because I don't know his music like that. But
we might be getting sent to a show.
Ooh,
yeah. You've talked to El Jefe?
It's in the works.
Yeah, it's in the works.
I wasn't gonna say anything, but yes, it's in the works.
Yeah, it's in the works. Yeah.
That would be dope.
He's a performer. He's a performer, 100%.
Performing in skates.
That's wild. That's nuts.
Yeah,
that is wild, right? I don't think it comes anywhere close to like the Dr. Dre halftime show. Yeah. The Dr. Dre halftime show was iconic.
Bigger guys.
I understand why other people like this more than when The Weeknd did the halftime show, but I do not. Even though I love Rihanna, I think I liked this more than Rihanna.
This was a little,
yeah. I liked this was a little bit more dynamic than Rihanna was, but she was with child.
Rihanna didn't have any. How many guests did she have? She didn't really have that many guests.
No, it was all Rihanna.
Yeah. Okay. Well, with Usher, we got I did listen. Alicia Keys, her
with a wild guitar solo, insane.
Killed it.
Yeah,
very good. Lil Jon screaming "yeah" in the crowd.
Yeah.
Ludacris with this old afro. Dude. Well, I am or not.
Where's Ludacris been?
Jermaine Dupri
doing State Farm commercials apparently.
Yeah,
filming one of the Fast and Furious. Like,
make it stop.
Yeah,
one of the 15 of them. But yeah, I mean, it was just dope overall. Good performance. One thing I didn't want to cover, just because, I mean, we could talk about the set list, but like he didn't do a full song. It's a halftime show.
Yeah, no, it's a halftime show. He only performed for like 16 minutes.
Exactly. One thing I did want to cover is not necessarily about the show itself, but
can I say one thing about the show itself then? Because there was one thing I really, really like, because for a long time, the Super Bowl, and it's kind of a tradition in football that has kind of eroded, that I know Purvis is going to love, and that's like the tradition of the marching band and the drum line as the halftime show.
Yes.
And I really liked that Usher incorporated like marching bands and drum lines into his halftime show to kind of like evoke
dancing, all of that. Yeah, it was a very nice touch.
I'm gonna say it. The most underrated kind of music is just super complicated drum line shit.
It is dope.
Banger.
Yeah, banger.
I kind of want to rewatch Drumline.
I'm gonna rewatch Drumline tonight.
All right, everyone, we're watching Drumline. We're making 100 episodes.
The Unpaid Movies podcast drops tonight. First
live
episode.
Stream watch party.
Honestly, that wouldn't be bad. Like, I feel like people would say,
get DMCA'd immediately.
Oh my god, who's the guy? Who's the guy who's in Drumline? I don't know. Nick Cannon. Oh my god, it's Nick Cannon.
Yeah, Nick Cannon. Jesus, wow, whoa. Yeah, my favorite part was the skates for sure.
Yeah.
Like I said, he's a performer, and good mention that. I didn't even think about the drum line and stuff.
Yeah, no, that was something that was really cool. My brother did marching band, And he played in the marching band when Jimmy Garoppolo was playing at Eastern Illinois. So
Hell yeah.
I've always really liked marching bands.
There's always some amazing video out there of some HBCU and they're just going crazy.
Yeah.
It's good every time.
Oh my god.
Just one thing I wanted to close on, and just like I said, it's not too much we can talk about for the performance. I just wanted to throw it in there.
No, it's definitely worth chatting about.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. There has been some controversy. I don't know if you guys have seen this or you're aware of what's going on. But if you pull up, and I just checked before this because I wanted to rewatch the show. If you pull up the NFL channel on YouTube, it already has edited some of the music that was played. And in the terms of editing, it was actual artists' voices. There was like immediately, as soon as Alicia Keys came on the scene, Twitter was going crazy because her first note, really her voice cracked. She did not hit the note well at all. And it was extremely noticeable if you were watching the Super Bowl. If you pull up the video right now, it's already been edited.
Yeah.
So it caused a lot of controversy in terms of how we record music, how we value music in live performances.
Yeah.
Because it
That's
seems like
a lot more. Okay. So like I don't like that they did that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a lot more common than you would think.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it is.
Yeah,
it's just something that people notice. I guess it was so blatantly obvious, and we've seen it in real time because there's a whole Mandela effect in place, and like people all the time, it's like, oh, is it Berenstain Bears or like this? Does Curious George have a tail? Like just stuff like that. So it's just interesting. I haven't seen it so blatantly obvious in terms of like music because it is edited. You can pull up the comparison, and it's crazy different. So I don't know if they'll have some kind of lasting effects on the industry going forward, but who knows? It was just something I saw a lot of people bringing up.
Interesting. All right. Well, that was our Vibecast. Little Usher, little Killer Mike,
little something.
Little Kanye West. Unfortunately, it's like
you might as well buckle in. We might as well buckle in.
Oh my god, Vultures is rights.
Part 2 and part 3 right around the corner.
Yeah. All right. Do we want to do recommendations?
Yeah, for sure.
Who wants to go first?
I mean, I have mine up. I really go first.
Yeah, I can go
the first one I do is by, I believe you pronounce his name Yame. He is very famous right now for his Colors video on Bacane, and he's the artist that's missing like the front 2 teeth, but he's just like singing his ass off. I looked up the full song because it's always that TikTok trend. So I looked up the full song. It's a phenomenal song. It's a great song.
Yeah.
So that's going to be my first recommendation.
Awesome. Okay, so both of my recommendations are actually songs that came out this month.
Okay.
So my first one, I'm going to throw back into another genre. I already told Purvis about this song. It's one of my favorite bands of all time, the Black Keys. They dropped their second song for their new album coming out in April, and it is fucking incredible. It's called I Forgot to Be Your Lover, and it is an old school like blues R&B song.
It's a good song.
It's fucking incredible. It is just like I am so the first track for the new album was good, like very good, but like didn't grab me. This song I am in. It's very like down home, like southern rock, southern blues. Very romantic. Loved it. Forgot to Be Your Lover, the Black Keys.
Oh yeah. Jasper?
I'm going with what I think is my favorite. I don't know. I should go back and re-listen to it. But what I think is my favorite song off of Michael, Exit 9, Killer Mike.
Exit 9's a very good song off that album.
Okay.
Big fan.
Yeah.
Okay. I see you.
Laid back, kind of chill. You know.
It's a great
Take
album.
it easy. Cozy vibe.
I have it right there.
Yeah.
God, what a dope.
I can't believe I met the Grammy Award winning.
Oh yeah. I wish you could take a photo with them. That would have been nice.
They would have been, yeah, but they were being very weird. All right, Purvis, what's your next one?
Yes. Chanice Gambino sweatpants.
Oh
Drop
my
mic.
god, that's
I
so
watched the
good.
video.
So
So
good.
hard. So good.
So good. It's on my
So good.
it's on my bangers playlist, that my
God,
lawnmower
so
playlist.
good.
Got her
Oh
hair
my God.
done, French braid. Now she ASAP.
So hard.
You know, so insensitive. She asking, why you say that?
And then the music video. Oh
So
my
good.
God. It's so good. So good. Drop music.
Fiskars don't make Fiskars don't set art like that. Just so you know.
Yeah, they don't make no swing stuff.
Yeah.
That was the
Make
moment.
more music.
Yeah, no.
When
absolutely insane.
What a time.
Oh my god. All right, so the next one I'm going to recommend, this is off what is absolutely my favorite project of the year so far. It's a short 3-song EP by The Alchemist and Hit Boy called Theodore and Andre. All 3 songs are all over my on repeat Spotify playlist right now. I basically just listen to it as one long song all the time. But I'm recommending the first song, Morrissey. I really like that The Alchemist is like branching out and rapping more. So this is just incredibly good. Hit Boy is incredible. Also an incredible rapper. And my nuclear take, this is going to be the hottest take of the week, 100%. Okay. I would take one for 2024. I would take a full-length Alchemist Hit Boy project over Run the Jewels 5. I would 100%. I like this project that much. I want that so bad. Like,
it's saying a lot coming from you.
Yeah,
actually.
I know it is, but it is the most exciting like collab I've heard in a very long time. And some of the bars are just wild, you know.
Hey, you got it. I ain't mad at you.
Yeah. Gave me the penthouse because they thought that I was Morrissey.
Did you feel like that was you?
Yeah.
Is that you?
Dude, it's so good. It's so bars.
That's me.
It's like don't get vertical, throwing fits. They'd never seen a trench coat that's reversible.
Okay, wait. That's actually kind of hard.
Wait, hold up a minute.
I'm gonna be saying,
not even gonna lie.
I'm gonna start, dude. I've been saying all week. I'm like, don't get vertical. That and like I was listening to Alfredo because I was like,
Jesus, man, what's going on?
And I was just like,
what's going on at your house?
I don't know. It's big mob movie vibes. And I just looked at the name of like one of the songs, and it's called Babies and Fools. And now I'm just like, I was on Call of Duty and I'm just like trouncing people, and I'm like, Babies and Fools, all of them. And now me and Rachel, just every time someone does something stupid, we're just like, Babies and Fools.
Jesus Christ.
Babies and Fools eating gabagools.
Can we please end the podcast?
Yeah.
Hold on, I have another recommendation.
Yeah, do another recommendation.
Yes,
Jasper,
I know. I'm just
so I can get back to Alchemist music and yelling Italian words.
It's a song that I can only appreciate by listening to. I'm gonna say "Story of OJ" by Jay-Z.
Oh yeah,
it's a good option. Yeah, good choice.
So good.
I
saw the video.
This was a very good round of Rex, guys. I think we did great jobs recommending stuff.
The video for this song is just so good.
It is. All right. Well, you've come to an end of another Unpaid Nobody's podcast. Next week's 100 episodes. Buckle up. This is going to be...
Lord help us.
Middle finger with the pinky out. Like, hit the store, empty the entire bank account, stopping the recording.
Oh, man.